Hunter is an antisocial loner who is ignored by everyone, who gets hard carried by the school's top-tier baddie when she decides to randomly buff his stats. But bro fumbles the bag immediately because our story kicks off with Hunter dragging his feet to class, crying about how his server ping is so high nobody even perceives his existence. And as he sits down to literally Google how to survive the server as a total loser, Kubo, the absolute final boss of Wafus, drops a high. Since she's the only player with enough perception to spot this bot, she catches his down bad browser history in 4K, snapping a pic while he begs for his digital life, before she casually parks right next to him to test his stealth mode. She literally orders him to stand on his chair, and when he tries to dodge the quest, she hits him with the ultimate cute face jutsu and threatens to leak his search history. So bro folds instantly and stands up, only for the goblin-sized professor to scream at him to sit down, draining his last HP point of dignity. Meanwhile, Kubo is straight up griefing him by trying not to laugh, and after class, she gaslights him into thinking he was the MVP for actually getting noticed. When Hunter calls her a toxic griefer for trolling him, she claims she's actually his sassy main character, aggressively poking his cheeks to drain his sanity. Cut to the next day, our boy is rotting alone in the lobby when Kubo pulls up looking like she's ready to throw hands. She sits down radiating pure crash-out energy. And when this clueless bot asks if she's mad, her aggro meter maxes out because he doesn't even remember his own crimes. Turns out, during the morning commute, this certified menace threw him a friendly emote. But Hunter's delusion led him to think she was waving at a real person, so he just walked away, handing her a massive L. To punish him, she deploys the ultimate weapon and sits directly on his lap, sending all the blood straight out of his brain. Still operating on one brain cell, he asks again why she's tweaking, so she whispers it's a secret in his ear, making his soul physically Alt F4 out the nearest window. Fast forward, Kubo spots Hunter glitching out trying to talk to the professor after the timer hits 0, asking what his deal is. Hunter hits her with the saddest law drop. He has to manually ping the admin just to prove he was in the server. Realizing his stealth stat is permanently maxed out, this devious baddie makes it a personal mission to ruin his peaceful existence. So during the next lecture, when the teacher drops a pop quiz, Kubo raises her hand and completely snitches on Hunter to answer, throwing him directly into the line of fire. When Hunter starts sweating buckets because he's a noob, Kubo clutches up by pointing to the cheat codes in her notebook, saving his HP. But karma strikes back instantly when the teacher targets Kubo, and Hunter pays back the revive by feeding her the correct voice lines. After the match, she hits him with a GG and casually demands his digits. But the second her squad spawns in, Hunter evaporates like a total coward. Skip to the weekend, where Kubo finds our boy touching grass alone at the park, admitting he was trying to cop a new game but got side-quested by a guy handing out tissues. Since the tissue dispensing NPC wouldn't render his character model, Hunter started spamming goofy emotes until the guy finally noticed his existence. Bro felt so hyped over unlocking a basic human interaction that he forgot his main quest, which Kubo somehow finds incredibly endearing. So she pulls out her camera to snap a pic. But Hunter's social credit score is literally so far in the gutter that the lens refuses to autofocus on him. Closing the gap, she slides in for a duo selfie. And the tech finally acknowledges that this glitch actually exists in the Matrix. Right after, she flexes her Rizz by asking for his number to airdrop the photo, absolutely jump-scaring his nervous system. She casually drops a co-op invite to hang out, baiting him by saying tissue gathering is way easier with an S-tier baddie like her. But Hunter's reading comprehension is 0, completely missing the fact she's down bad and genuinely thinks she just wants to grind tissue drops. Numbers acquired, Kubo heads to her spawn point, absolutely buzzing that she successfully leveled up her relationship status with this absolute bot. That night, she fires off the selfie drop. While Hunter sits there convinced she's gonna instantly block him now that the transaction is complete. But plot twist, she double texts an IRL hangout invite, and his brain starts overheating like a crypto mining rig because he wasn't prepped for this event. Summoning all 2 of his brain cells, he types out a yes, making Kubo hit the sweetest victory smile. Back in the school lobby next day, Hunter is fighting demons trying to stay awake, figuring nobody checks his activity log anyway. Then he remembers Kubo has aimbot on him, only to glance over and realize she's also AFK. Just as he starts creepily watching her sleep, her eyes snap open, making eye contact before face-planting her desk. She drops the softest "good morning," and Hunter's heart rate immediately crashes out from the lethal dose of kawaii. Later, we catch Hunter leaking sweat like a busted radiator after the track event, which was pure torture because his teammate lacked the required DLC to see him. Bro had to spam his ultimate ability just to get noticed, and while he's gasping for air, Kubo pulls up, causing him to backpedal instantly because he knows he smells like a Discord mod's gaming chair. But this absolute unhinged menace steps right into his hitbox, takes a massive sniff, and basically declares him a premium snack. Bro is so cooked he slides backward again, realizing his heart is sprinting at 10k because she violated his personal space. She orders him to hold that position while she BRBS, leaving him questioning the anime logic of how she still smells S-tier after PE. He also clocks that she equipped a new ponytail skin today, multiplying her threat level immensely. And his simp heart cannot handle the critical hits. While he stands there wondering if a haircut would boost his stats, Kubo respawns and literally wipes his neck, revealing her devious lick, scented wipes to mask the gamer gunk. She slides him a spare, and he starts scrubbing down while she just intensely spectates his every move. Then she casually drops the bomb that they now share a scent profile, sending his vital signs into overdrive. Right on cue, her squad pings her location, forcing her to log off, but she hits him with a parting smile so bright it genuinely blue screens his brain. Later, while equipping her standard uniform, Kubo spots the holy wipes on her desk, and the memory alone makes her start simping. Her guildmates Tama and Heizuki catch her cheesing and immediately initiate the roasting phase. She pleads the fifth, and when Tama tries to loot the wipes, she aggressively defends her inventory because she refuses to let anyone else share the Hunter scent meta. Heizuki tries to pry if the buffed mood is tied to the item drop, but Kubo hits them with the biggest cap of the century with a smug smirk. A few days pass, and Hunter is hyped out of his mind to buy the newest One Piece chapter to find out if Luffy finally caught a W. Meanwhile, Kubo is free-roaming the map and spots Hunter camping outside the shop. She immediately enters stealth mode to spectate this wild NPC in his natural habitat. And what does he do? He starts running in actual circles like a glitched mob because the automatic door refuses to detect him. But wait, plot twist, he realizes it's a manual button door, and the sheer embarrassment of acting like a circus freak for 5 straight minutes crushes his soul. Right then, another duo spawns in and opens the gate. But Hunter's processor is so fried, he doesn't even draft behind them into the store. Taking pity on this absolute failure, Kubo breaks cover and pushes the button herself, leaving him shook and utterly mortified. Realizing this baddie just watched his entire crash-out session. They finally enter the zone, and Kubo gets massive butterflies watching Hunter absolutely geek out over his favorite 2D paper. When his social anxiety kicks in and he tries to backtrack, she drops her S-tier empathy skills, validating his weeb hobbies to keep him from retreating. She even commits to the bit by asking to borrow volume 1 of his holy scriptures, just to secure future interactions. Hunter gives her the green light, and as they exit the lobby, she tells him to bring the loot to school tomorrow. But hold up, when she figures out his spawn point is super close, she audibles into a full house visit, making him sweat pure buckets. They pull up to his base, he hands over the manga, and she drops the bomb that they basically live in the same neighborhood. She extracts his daily departure schedule, solving the mystery of why their paths never crossed. This tryhard leaves for school way before her. Cut to the next morning, she breaks her sleep schedule to log in early, even stealing her sister's premium cosmetics to buff her charisma stat. She joins her sister Akina for the breakfast queue, and Akina immediately calls her out on her simp behavior, noticing the high-tier mist she's rocking. Kubo starts malfunctioning and tries to evade, but Akina ruthlessly points out she's leaving 10 minutes early just to trap her prey. Moments later, Kubo is camping the spawn route, immediately popping stealth the second Hunter enters her line of sight. As he crosses her threshold, she pulls off an Oscar-worthy accidental run-in, forcing a co-op walk cycle to school. As Hunter's brain slowly registers that he's not doing a solo mission for once, Kubo suggests they hit a bench because their speedrun pace is too fast. She hyper-analyzes his environment, spotting his go-to food vendor and asking if he's a sugar addict since she caught him buying a sweet roll recently. Hunter confirms he's down for the sugar, and Kubo mentally screenshots this intel to optimize her Rizz strategy for later. Out of nowhere, Heizuki and Tama crash the party, dragging Kubo into their voice chat and introducing themselves to Hunter, who immediately panics and Alt F4s from the conversation. For the rest of the day, Hunter is back to being unrendered background geometry, but during his walk home, the author hits him with the classic speeding car splash attack. Bro is covered in mud but 0% embarrassed because his stealth is maxed out, except for Kubo, who literally teleports out of the ether to join his side. She escorts him to his base and turns to leave, only for them to realize this absolute bot forgot both his keys and his common sense. He hits up his mom's DMs for an ETA, getting slapped with a brutal 2-hour respawn timer. Looking like a swamp monster, he considers bathing in the local park fountain. But Kubo fears he'll catch a debuff and invites him to her personal server. They pull up to her crib and she vectors him toward the washroom, only to violently scramble to hide her exposed plot armor hanging on the laundry rack. Dying of cringe, she bails to find him some backup armor while Hunter steps into the shower to cleanse his sins. She drops a fresh tracksuit on the shelf, and when he exits the purification chamber, he finds her guarding the door like a loyal NPC. He drops a thanks and tries to initiate the leave sequence, but she spots his wet hair and forces him to equip a towel first. Finally seeing him out, she exhales a massive sigh of relief, completely oblivious to the fact that Hunter's face is glowing red like a dying Tamagotchi. A few cycles later, Hunter intercepts Kubo on his way to class to return the borrowed tracksuit armor. Out of nowhere, she asks for his character specs, specifically his height, and he admits to being a solid 163 centimeters. Kubo flexes her 160 stat, then hops onto a stair to establish the high ground, citing that 15 centimeters is the meta height gap for couples. Hunter argues that guys are supposed to be the tall ones, but she straight up admits she's here for the short king agenda and starts aggressively patting his head. She asks if he's salty about his short build, and when he says yeah, she steps down, getting dangerously close, whispering that she actually prefers their current build. And just when you think he's gonna make a move, days pass, and we catch Hunter speedrunning a test before instantly evaporating from the classroom. He claims he's got plans, leaving Kubo wondering if our boy is actually doing okay. Later, Hunter is escorting his little bro Seita to the local park, but his negative aura is so strong a random Karen thinks the kid is just out here touching grass alone. And after Hunter accidentally jump scares her by popping into existence, she dips, leaving our boy to babysit. But just as he starts freezing up like a popsicle, Kubo suddenly pulls up and violently roasts him, asking if he's adopted since he looks absolutely nothing like Seita. She interrogates him about his so-called big plans, and he admits his grand mission was just taking his bro out to touch grass. Right on cue, Seita pulls up calling him Ninny, which this absolute menace finds dangerously adorable. She then catches the kid locking onto her hot drink, right before he demands Hunter to secure the bag for him. Hunter tries to block the interaction since it's her drink, but Kubo graciously hands it over, making the kid cheese hard. Seita hands the bottle back, and she casually takes a swig from the exact same spot, securing a massive W in the kid's eyes. But then Seita demands that Hunter also take a hit from the bottle. And when Hunter rejects the offer, the kid instantly starts charging his crying attack. Catching the emotional blackmail, Kubo peer pressures Hunter to just take the sip for the boy's sake. So this absolute coward fakes the drinking motion, successfully cancelling the kid's tantrum. While Seita goes back to playing, Kubo grills Hunter on why he didn't actually drink it. But bro just deflects with the vaguest dialogue ever. So Kubo goes for the kill, directly asking if he was terrified of catching an indirect kiss. But Hunter somehow hides his massive cringe and completely dips from the area, leaving her cackling. Fast forward and Hunter is rotting in his room reading a new manga, getting so insanely hyperfixated that he needs to buy the official poster. He physically travels to a bookstore way outside his zip code just because the poster comes in a women's magazine, and he refuses to be caught lacking by anyone he knows. But as he approaches the shelf, he spots an adult-oriented magazine left open, and assuming he's totally off the grid, this absolute Gooner decides to take a peek. He even realizes the cover model is built exactly like Kubo, but boom, vine boom effect, Akina rolls up and roasts him for looking too pure to be gooning out in public. Bro panics, throws the magazine behind his back, and caps out of his mind, claiming he was just organizing the shelf. He desperately tries to change the subject by claiming he's only here for a manga poster. But Akina sees right through his negative aura and continuously presses him about trying to sneak a peek at the forbidden pages. Meanwhile, Hunter's brain is failing because the only person who can break his invisibility is supposed to be Kubo. Right as he spots her employee badge that literally says Kubo, leading his microscopic brain to conclude that anyone with the Kubo last name has built-in X-ray vision against him. After the most cursed transaction ever, he secures the magazine and ejects from the store. But he fumbles harder than ever, accidentally dropping his student ID on the floor. Akina snatches the card, checks it, and realizes this kid is locked into the exact same school as her little sister. So upon returning to base, she completely breaches Kubo's room, tossing her the ID to return. When Kubo confirms she knows this specific NPC, Akina absolutely exposes him, dropping the law that she caught him studying the sacred Goon scrolls at her shop. Akina mercilessly adds that the cover model was heavily blessed in the chest area, meaning Hunter likes them thick, which sends Kubo into a depression because she's currently built like an ironing board. Come next day, Kubo flexes the dropped ID in Hunter's face, asking if he wants it back. He desperately says yes, and as she extends her hand, Bro is genuinely shocked she isn't tweaking or teasing him. But psych, she pulls it back, drops the reveal that her sister found it, and point-blank asks if he's a simp for the heavy artillery. Hunter is instantly paralyzed, finally connecting the dots that the baddie from yesterday was a higher-level variant of Kubo. Seeing her turn bright red, he scrambles to clear his name, but she just tosses the ID, brands him a certified Gooner, and speed walks out of the room. Later that night, while chilling with Akina, Kubo gets interrogated about her upcoming Christmas plans. Kubo deflects with a reverse Uno card, only to find out Akina is squadding up with her own school friends. The next morning, Hunter's presence is back to being non-existent, causing the teacher to completely skip collecting his paper. Some random guy literally walks in and shouts Hunter's name, proving he's basically a ghost to the rest of the world. For this loser, that's just a Tuesday, but Kubo easily spots him, taps his shoulder and sends him toward the admin's office. While he's away, she overhears some randoms hyping up Christmas dates, which immediately activates her plotting protocol. The second Hunter walks back in, she pins him down and asks if he still remembers his promise to hang out with her. He confirms, so she asks for his schedule, completely oblivious to the fact that this kid's calendar is an endless barren wasteland. She locks in an invite for the weekend, and Hunter starts sweating bullets because that specific date is literally Christmas. Come weekend, Hunter tryhards by arriving 30 minutes early to camp by a tree, only for an ugly couple to literally sit on him because his aura is that negative. Repositioning to the train station, he checks his phone, realizing he's still got 10 minutes on the clock. But Kubo instantly materializes, throwing out the classic "Have you been waiting long?" question. Bro lies and says he just got there, but Kubo immediately gets suspicious, grabbing his hands to feel that they're freezing cold, which mathematically proves he's been camping out here for ages. He tries to cap again to save face, but she increases the grip pressure and hits him with the ultimate death stare. So he finally folds and confesses to hard camping the spot for 20 straight minutes. She then drops a bag in his hands, declaring it as his exclusive Christmas loot. Flexing a massive smile as she reveals she manipulated him into a surprise gift exchange. When Bro asks why she didn't warn him, she admits it was a calculated troll and demands he speedruns buying her a gift right this second. Hunter initiates a 15-minute speedrun, checking multiple stores, while Kubo just tanks the freezing cold outside. Right on the buzzer, Bro returns clutching a pair of mittens, dropping the uncharacteristically high IQ play of protecting her hands from getting cold like his did. Seeing this bot actually execute a flawless Rizz maneuver, Kubo gets so overwhelmed her eyes actually start tearing up. She instantly feels massive regret over her own troll gift, which is literally just a joke shirt labeling him as the main character. But Hunter doesn't care, absolutely buzzing that he acquired a gift at all. Weeks later, Hunter is grinding anime episodes with Seita, who is so brain-rotted by the show he's been spamming superhero poses for hours. When Hunter questions how the kid isn't bored yet, his mom brutally reminds him that he was the exact same cringelord back in the day. She then assigns him a mandatory quest to take the goblin outside. And when he tries to decline, she bribes him with premium Hamburg steak for dinner to force his compliance. Walking to the park, Seita is still aggressively spamming his hero poses. But his form is absolutely trash. So Hunter decides to step up and show him the optimal form, looking like a certified gigachad for exactly 2 seconds. The kid demands an instant replay, and Hunter complies, completely unaware that Kubo has pulled up directly in his blind spot. He suddenly hears an audio playback of his own cringe voice, slowly turning around to face Kubo, who has caught him lacking in 4K, recording the entire crash out and nuking him with sheer embarrassment. A few days later, Hunter loads into the classroom with mismatched socks, but naturally, nobody cares because his presence is literal negative aura. Right then, Kubo and her squad breach the room, loudly dropping hints about the upcoming Valentine's event and demanding free sweets from her. While Hunter is busy spectating, she closes the gap, demanding to know why he's staring at her, but he cowardly caps and says it's nothing. Mid-lecture, Hunter's radar goes off, detecting that Kubo's aesthetics seem slightly different today. But his low-spec brain can't process exactly what changed about her. Post-class, the professor orders Kubo to pin up a notice, and she immediately drags Hunter into the side quest. Lacking the vertical reach, she fails the placement and asks Hunter to give it a try. But Bro is terrified that stretching out will expose his mismatched sock debuff. So he literally fakes having T-Rex arms to avoid the task. He tries to cheat by mounting a chair, but Kubo's perception is too high. She calls out his mismatched socks and tells him to stop tweaking. She then notices the poster is crooked, hops onto the chair herself, giving Hunter a direct line of sight to realize she's rocking the black tights today. Which explains why her vibe felt so different earlier. Kubo is genuinely shook that this oblivious NPC actually noticed. So she defends the fashion choice, claiming her default socks were still in the dryer. And just as Hunter sighs in relief thinking he escaped the roasting phase, she maliciously props her leg up and directly interrogates why he was hyperfixated on her legs. Hunter initiates a full panic attack, desperately capping that he wasn't being a creep, just scanning for differences. But Kubo shows zero mercy, continuously farming him for reactions. After securing the poster, she randomly asks Hunter if he's ever used one of those automatic coffee machines. Realizing what she means, Hunter confirms he has the necessary experience. So she completely invades his personal space, aggressively declaring she wants to try it right now. Bro takes a massive step back just to keep his heart from exploding out of his chest. Yet he still escorts her to the store, where Kubo gets completely overwhelmed by the massive drink menu. Hunter reminisces about his usual strat of buying 2 random items to split with his little bro. Right on cue, Kubo slides in and pitches a co-op strat. He buys hot chocolate, she buys matcha, and they trade halves. Catching her devious grin, Hunter realizes this is a trap to force an indirect kiss and instantly backs off. Claiming he doesn't want a drink, just a meat bun. He tries to retreat to the checkout counter, but she grabs his aggro, commanding him to watch over her while she orders. She then confidently asks the cashier for a matcha latte. But when hit with the what size question, her brain short-circuits and she panics, turning to Hunter for the answers. Hunter stealthily whispers, "Regular." She locks it in and starts cheesing because the cashier didn't even notice Hunter standing right behind her. Afterward, she approaches the machine, buzzing with pure hype as she finally secures her drink. Exiting the shop, she walks alongside him and casually demands to share his meat bun. But before Hunter can even rip off a piece, she leans in and takes a massive bite straight out of his hand, absolutely shattering his reality. She orders him to finish the leftovers and dips to her crib. But before Hunter can even process this massive W, some random girls bump into him, causing him to fumble the holy artifact straight onto the dirty pavement. When Valentine's Day drops, every guy is praying to get blessed with chocolates. But for Hunter, it's just another ordinary day of being completely invisible to society. That is, until he checks his desk and finds a rogue chocolate box, immediately panicking that someone left it there by accident. His brain overclocks trying to calculate if this was just an obligation drop. Before zeroing in on Kubo, since she's the only one who acknowledges his existence. As he physically crashes out and faceplants his desk, Kubo rushes over to check his vitals. Hunter decides to man up and confront her about the mysterious chocolates. But his confidence vanishes, and he wildly changes the topic at the last possible second. So she takes the wheel, asking if he's ever successfully acquired Valentine's chocolates before. When he confirms his lifetime stats are 0, her eyes literally light up, before casually dropping that someone definitely stashed sweets in his desk. And when Bro begs to know who did it, she hits him with a cryptic answer about how they put a lot of effort into crafting them. When Hunter starts tweaking that the sweets aren't actually for him, she forcefully confirms they are and walks off, praying this absolute NPC eventually solves the world's easiest puzzle. Rewind to the prep phase. Kubo told Akina she was making chocolates, sending her sister into a panic thinking she was about to explode the kitchen. Despite the roasting, Kubo completely locked in and crafted cookies, but they came out looking like literal dog poop, inflicting her with massive emotional damage. When Akina drops the bomb and asks if this is all for her crush, Kubo tries to dodge the aggro, but Akina's perception stat is too high, so she announces a co-op baking session. But get this, Akina caps that she's only crafting loot for herself, loudly leaking the recipe tutorial so Kubo can copy her homework without dropping her ego. They finish their separate loot drops, but Kubo is still crashing out because her cookies look like cursed items. That is, until Akina takes a bite and confirms Kubo's batch actually has that premium, made with love stat buff, which finally stabilizes Kubo's aura. Akina points out one cookie actually spawned with a perfect heart shape, so Kubo immediately locks it into Hunter's inventory. That night she finally drops her toxic act to show some vulnerability, thanking Akina for the hard carry. But Akina immediately goes back to trolling her, making her violently frustrated. Back in the present lobby, Hunter's room temperature IQ still hasn't figured out who dropped the loot. But he devours it anyway like a total bot. Fast forward and Hunter is dragging his negative aura outside for lunch, coping hard by claiming his permanent stealth mode makes him the ultimate solo player. He lists off his previous camping spots, but since the graphics engine is rendering a sunny day, he decides to touch grass. He finds a dead zone on the map, but the second he deploys his lunchbox, Kubo literally fast travels to his coordinates, claiming she's hijacking his solo queue. As she enters his hitbox, Hunter asks why she's not squadding up with her friends, and she drops the lore that Tama and Heizuki are stuck in a club meeting. She starts eating, but notices Hunter is literally cosplaying a background asset with 0 idle animations, so she forces him to activate. Hunter pops open his lunch, and she gets completely stun-locked by how high-tier his crafted meal is compared to hers. When she starts physically drooling over it, Hunter offers a trade, making her eyes light up like a slot machine. She pitches an omelette exchange and goes straight for the feeding animation, but Bro's negative Rizz makes him recall and snatch the item directly. He tries to toss her his omelette, but she counters by devouring it directly out of his hand while deploying maximum cuteness, completely short-circuiting his motherboard. She demands a review of her food, and when Hunter drops a 5-star rating, she flexes that she crafted it herself. While Hunter is genuinely hallucinating about securing a trad wife, she hits him with the psych, admitting it was Cap before asking if he really wants her cooking. Before his dial-up brain can even buffer a response, she locks in a promise to physically cook for him during their next co-op session. Like the absolute pushover he is, Hunter accepts, dropping his stats to reveal he mains Hamburg steak. Kubo counters that she's a stew main, kicking back to just spectate him eat like a certified yandere. Meanwhile, Hunter is having an existential crisis, realizing this is his first time ever surviving a multiplayer lobby. A few patches later, Kubo is AFK at a cafe with her guildmates, and Tama points out Kubo has been severely looksmaxing lately, guessing she finally caught feelings. Heizuki leaks the lore that Kubo has 0 romance XP, so Tama tries to initiate a first kiss side quest, only for Heizuki to immediately cancel her delusions. Tama then directly interrogates if Kubo is simping for someone. And when Kubo plays dumb, Tama changes the prompt, asking if there's a player permanently stuck in her RAM. This instantly pings Hunter in Kubo's servers, and her squad catches the massive micro-expression. So they start aggressively farming her for the tea. Kubo admits she's hyperfixated on Hunter and how his character model doesn't render for anyone else. But Tama gets violently depressed, realizing a certified 10/10 baddie is throwing her a low for a total NPC like Hunter. Tama starts reading off his negative patch notes and trash stats. But Kubo literally shushes her, deploying her shield to defend her bot because she's the only one who actually read his lore, claiming he's actually a W dude. Tama immediately starts crying, thinking she triggered a friendly fire event. But Kubo de-escalates the situation. Heizuki steps in, demanding to know what cheat codes Hunter used to secure this. But when Kubo aggressively gatekeeps the info, Heizuki starts flaming her for hoarding the NPC. Kubo tries to cap, saying he isn't in her inventory to gatekeep. But when Heizuki forces her to imagine Hunter equipping a different waifu, Kubo's aura visibly crashes. Tama and Heizuki realize this girl is dangerously down bad. But they stay muted on comms, letting her figure out her own skill tree. Next morning, Hunter logs in early to secure the first-in-class achievement, feeling like an absolute gigachad for 30 seconds. Until he spots the final boss crouching by the door, realizing she beat his speedrun time. Seeing her blasting tunes, he tries to avoid aggro, but she immediately unplugs an earbud and forces a co-op listening session. She demands he slide into her hitbox so they can share the chair, and Hunter folds instantly. After listening to her bops, she demands access to his audio logs, asking him to link his playlist. But Hunter starts sweating bullets because his entire playlist is just anime openings on repeat, like a 2014 edgelord. Still, since a top-tier baddie is asking, he exposes his power level and plays the intro song for the exact manga he lent her. When Kubo hits him with the W review on the manga, Hunter completely geeks out, leaking the movie adaptation release date, which she somehow finds incredibly cute instead of cringe. That night, Kubo decides to completely binge the anime adaptation, and Akina finds it hilarious because she knows Kubo is only watching this to optimize her Rizz strategy. Meanwhile, Hunter is just hyped for the movie drop, completely oblivious to reality. Until he checks the server calendar and spots White Day, triggering the quest to buy a return item for his mystery gifter. The next day, his negative agility makes him faceplant in the store, temporarily breaking his stealth and drawing maximum aggro from the local NPCs. He secures the sweets and smuggles them into the classroom lobby. But since his intelligence stat is 0, he pulls Kubo aside for a private chat, which absolutely jump scares her because this bot has never initiated a quest before. They hit a secluded zone where Hunter hands over the loot and drops the bomb that it's for someone else, instantly draining Kubo's HP because she assumes he's simping for a different player. Tanking the emotional damage, she forces a smile and asks who the target is. And this absolute Gooner says it's for the mystery chef, assuming Kubo has her in her friend list since she hinted at it earlier. Bro literally wants her to manually act as his delivery drone. Recovering her HP as she realizes he's just incredibly stupid, Kubo points out he didn't need to drag her into a private lobby for this. She jokes that she thought he was trying to lock in a date, hitting him with critical damage. His brain actually blue screens until she pulls back and claims it was just a troll. She accepts the delivery quest, completely reviving her mood. But Hunter's processor is too slow to understand why she suddenly caught a massive buff. He begs her to leak the gamma tag of the cookie crafter. But Kubo counters by asking if he'd be hyped to get a drop from her specifically. Hunter drops the W response that anyone would be hyped for her loot, making her laugh. She then initiates the walk animation back to class. And when Hunter cries that she didn't answer the prompt, she basically tells him to upgrade his reading comprehension and solve the puzzle himself. A few cycles later, Hunter is blending into the wall textures as usual, while Kubo is the only one bypassing his stealth field. Out of nowhere, Tama breaches the room hunting for his exact coordinates. But Kubo straight up caps and says his model hasn't rendered yet. Turns out the server has a new myth that spotting Hunter grants a full 24-hour luck buff. But Kubo heavily gatekeeps him, redirecting Tama, which leaves Hunter completely confused by the betrayal. She then walks into his personal space, violently scrambles his hair and roasts his default skin. She reveals she knew his embarrassment meter would max out. So she lied to protect him from the server's aggro. With his social anxiety spiking, Hunter tactical retreats to the bathroom, while Kubo sits there simping over how aesthetic his messy hair looked. Days later, Hunter fumbles his student ID at a shop, making the cashier question reality since he's invisible to her. Continuing his streak of negative dexterity, he drops his handkerchief in the street. But a random mini NPC picks it up and hands it back, completely shocking his system. He realizes his visibility stats are slowly buffing, but the real jump scare is that this kid looks like a low-level variant of Kubo. Right on cue, Akina spawns in, immediately exposing him as the bookstore Gooner, prompting Hunter to ask if she's part of the Kubo bloodline. She confirms the lore, introducing the mini-boss as their cousin Saki, which explains the recycled character assets. Akina then deploys a trap card, asking if he thinks Saki is cute. Before he can dodge, she hits him with the logic loop. If he likes Saki's design, he must be simping for Kubo too. She drops the backstory that Saki is heavily looks-maxing to copy Kubo's build, even pulling out an exclusive legacy screenshot of Kubo to prove it. Saki genuinely asks if she can ever reach Kubo's tier, and Akina forces Hunter to answer the prompt. Hunter nervously confirms she can, so Akina rewards his W behavior by dropping the rare Kubo screenshot directly into his inventory. She forces a number exchange, and Hunter logs off, literally staring at the newly acquired JPEGs on his walk home. Meanwhile, back at the Kubo base, Akina and Saki leak the entire interaction, completely spiking Kubo's curiosity. She desperately asks if Hunter dropped any dialogue, and Saki repeats his voice line about her growing up to be as cute as Kubo, which makes Kubo's face turn violently red. Akina casually drops the nuke that she secured his digits, telling Kubo to invite him over to the lobby again. Kubo starts physically glitching, realizing Akina already knows about her secret co-op sessions. Saki observes their dynamic and clocks that they're basically a duo queue, which actually gives the kid a debuff of jealousy. Back in reality, Hunter's mom drops a terrifying final boss warning about his exams. If his grades tank, she will permanently hardware ban him from all video games. The next day, the professor officially announces the start of the exam raid. But Hunter is more terrified of dropping his eraser, since his stealth is too high to ping the admin for help, so he equips 10 backups just in case. Post-lecture, the normies form study squads. But Hunter drags himself to the library alone because his friend list is completely empty. While he's getting packed up by the math problems, Kubo pulls up, offering to hard carry him through the syllabus. She equips a fake glasses skin to fully roleplay the teacher class. And when Hunter asks how she bypassed the dress code, she admits she literally looted them from the librarian NPC. Hunter seriously debates if he should accept the party invite, terrified she's just going to clip his fails and roast him. But the threat of losing his gaming setup completely outweighs his non-existent dignity, forcing him to accept. He begs for a walkthrough on question 5. Only for Kubo to point out he already failed the first 2 skill checks, suggesting they restart the tutorial, which absolutely shocks Hunter because he was braced for maximum toxicity. Reading his aura, Kubo drops the troll act, promising she'd never flame someone who is actually trying to grind their stats. With that wholesome buff applied, they resume the raid, and Hunter realizes this baddie is actually an S-tier support class. She pats his head for being a good boy and suggests a private study date here tomorrow. She unequips the glasses and logs off for the day. Meanwhile, Hunter is genuinely shook because this is the first time he's ever joined a party lobby to study. He actually gets hyped to see Kubo the next day, but his immune system completely crashes out, forcing him to take a sick day. Before this debuff, Hunter was literally speedrunning the perfect attendance achievement. But he copes by telling himself it doesn't matter since his invisibility stat means nobody checks his log anyway. However, Kubo is actively tracking his status and starts stressing. But when her guildmates ask if she noticed Hunter disconnected, she hard caps and says no. Post-school, Tama drops a random voice line saying she'd instantly heal if Kubo visited her while she was sick. But Heizuki immediately counters, roasting Tama for how violently toxic she gets when anyone disturbs her rest. This puts Kubo in a massive logic loop. Once her squad disperses, she starts strategizing the optimal strat to ping Hunter without triggering his aggro. Ultimately, she just slides into his DMs to check if he's respawning tomorrow. Hunter confirms he's logging back in. But suddenly, Seita breaches the room, demanding to initiate a play session. Hunter panics, trying to prevent his bro from catching the debuff, but Seita just ignores the warnings and wrestles for the phone, resulting in a misinput that launches an "I miss you" sticker straight into Kubo's DMs. Kubo physically freezes and almost double texts that she misses him too, but Hunter speedruns a typo correction message, saving himself from the Rizz. Soon after the mom drags Seita out, Hunter checks his screen to see Kubo dropped a "feeling lonely without you" sticker back. But she immediately caps, blaming her sister for stealing her phone and sending it. And Hunter's negative IQ completely buys the lie, even though she 100% aimed that shot. The next cycle, Hunter loads into the school map late, absolutely terrified to enter the classroom because Kubo's radar will instantly ping him. Just then, Kubo stumbles out of the doorway looking severely nerfed, nearly face-planting into his hitbox before admitting her HP is critical due to a fever. Hunter tells her to call a support main to escort her to the medical bay. But she insists the whole lobby is locked in a quiz event and tells him to hurry up and join the match. As she tries to walk away, Hunter sees her character model literally glitching out, so he abandons the quiz objective to personally escort her, giving her a massive mood buff. Once they hit the nurse's room, Hunter drops her at the spawn point and tries to eject. But she grabs his hand, hits him with a "thank you," and instantly logs out into sleep mode. While Hunter is still buffering, the nurse admin enters and takes over the healing sequence. Stepping out, Hunter finally acknowledges the crazy truth. For the first time in his life, he actually felt like the main character. Post-exam arc, Hunter is just staring at the rain effects when Kubo fast travels to his location to drop a high. Hunter hits her with a solid "thank you," admitting her Estia tutoring hard carried his test scores. Kubo gets hyped and immediately tries to lock in another study date. But Hunter drops the depressing law that the server is resetting soon, meaning their class assignments will separate them next season. With that harsh reality check, Hunter mentally accepts his fate of returning to full NPC status. They hit the locker room area, but Hunter is hard stuck because he forgot to equip an umbrella for the rain event. Only for Kubo to flash a devious smile, clearly plotting a major move. She deploys her umbrella and pitches a co-op walk, trolling him by asking if anyone will finally perceive him if he's sharing her hitbox. Hunter violently panics and rejects the offer, which pisses Kubo off so much she literally tosses him the umbrella and dashes into the storm without armor. However, Hunter actually clutches up, chasing her down to trigger the shared umbrella walk cycle all the way home. While walking, Kubo is glowing with pure W energy, but Hunter is violently stressing over their hitboxes accidentally colliding. He suddenly realizes they look like a fully confirmed duo queue right now, so he purposefully paths through a dead server zone just to avoid being rendered by other players. As they approach the destination, Kubo checks the map, realizes they saw 0 NPCs, and directly accuses Hunter of pathing this way just to secure private one-on-one time. Realizing he accidentally executed a flawless Rizz maneuver, Hunter's brain fully blue screens and shuts down. But Kubo finds his total system failure absolutely adorable. Hunter makes it to his base, and his mom instantly clocks his soaked left shoulder, proving he was aggressively trying to maintain social distancing from Kubo. Kubo hits her spawn point too, getting greeted by Akina, who drops the patch notes that Saki is visiting for the weekend event. Come Saturday, Hunter spots Saki exiting the shop, heavily encumbered by loot bags, so he decides to initiate a helpful NPC quest. Even though her facial recognition software pings him, she stubbornly refuses to drop the cargo, giving Hunter massive PTSD flashbacks to Sata's stubborn phases. Saki is convinced she'll farm massive praise points from Kubo if she solos the carry. But Hunter spots the red HP damage on her hands and tells her to stop trying to girl boss, warning that it'll only trigger Kubo's anxiety. Realizing she's griefing herself, Saki transfers the inventory but demands he hand it back right before they enter Kubo's render distance. As they start the escort mission, Saki drops the lore that she leveled up her cooking skill to make stew and bought mats to craft it with Kubo. However, knowing Kubo's kitchen skills are a literal hazard to the server, she bought backup materials for when Kubo inevitably fails the QuickTime event. Sadly, she missed the Sake and Mirin drops, asking Hunter if most bases spawn with those items by default. But this absolute bot has 0 points in culinary knowledge and doesn't even know what Mirin is. Meanwhile, back at base, Kubo is absolutely crashing out because Saki is past her ETA, so she abandons the house to search for her missing party member. Right then, a text notification pops up from Hunter asking if her inventory contains Sake and Mirin, and she confirms she has the items. During the walk, Saki directly interrogates Hunter to check his relationship status with Kubo, but he says no to being the boyfriend. She tests if they have the best friend title, but he denies that too, dropping his head to admit they're literally just classmates. This intel gives Saki a massive ego boost since she was previously salty about him, boldly declaring her own high-tier closeness with Kubo. She even tries to roast Hunter for not having Kubo's first name unlocked, but when he claims he does, she challenges him to drop the voice line. Before he can execute, Kubo spade walks into the frame, completely relieved to locate them. Saki instantly snitches that Hunter doesn't know her first name, and Kubo actually gets surprised because this NPC only ever uses her last name. Hunter stubbornly defends his honor, claiming he does know the law, so Kubo smirks and commands him to say it to her face. Sweating profusely, Hunter finally forces out the name Najasa, securing a massive critical hit on her happiness meter. Returning the favor, she locks in his first name too, before snatching the loot bags and leading the way back to base. Trailing behind, Saki spots Kubo glowing bright red, and immediately realizes Hunter was capping out of his mind when he claimed they were just classmates. A few cycles later, Hunter is AFK in class out of pure boredom. So he starts disassembling his pen like it's a weapon customization screen. He completely fumbles the spring, and while scanning the floor, his camera pans up to see Kubo staring a hole through his skull, making him realize she's been actively spectating him this whole time. Since his main weapon is broken, he prays to the RNG gods that no writing is required today. But the professor instantly drops the mark your answer sheets objective. Detecting his panic, Kubo slides him a backup weapon which he equips, only to realize it's a super aesthetic cute pen. She then pulls out her primary weapon, revealing it's the exact same skin, declaring they now have a matching set. She returns to her task, but every time she checks her peripheral and sees Hunter wielding her pen, she starts heavily blushing. After the match ends, she drops the tip that he can just buy ammo refills to keep using the pen permanently, leaving Hunter to mentally buffer on why she specifically bought a duplicate in the first place. And just like that, the semester reaches its final cutscene, and Hunter logs out solo because his friends list remains completely empty. That night, Kubo hosts a sleepover event with Tama and Heizuki, where Tama proudly announces she only failed one skill check on the exams. Heizuki questions why she's celebrating an L, until Kubo translates that for Tama, failing less is actually a massive achievement unlock. The squad burns time doing standard sleepover side quests until they hit the sleep phase, but as Tama parkours onto the bed and the others set up floor mats, the existential dread finally kicks in that this is their final night before the server shuffles their classes. Tama's emotional damage spikes as she cries about the squad getting separated, diving on top of them to initiate a group hug emote. She starts aggressively listing every co-op activity she still wants to run with them. But this specific dialogue immediately shifts Kubo's thoughts back to Hunter. Tama's radar goes off, and she directly presses Kubo on whether she's praying to secure the same class slot as Hunter. Kubo's internal temperature maxes out, and she tries to tactically retreat by pretending to sleep. But Tama and Heizuki mercilessly spam her with teasing because it's blatantly obvious she's down bad for the NPC. Shortly after, Tama's energy bar depletes and she passes out, leaving Kubo and Heizuki on the floor mats. While chilling, Kubo whispers her flex that she placed rank 2 in the finals, and Heizuki rewards her with the head pat emote for the massive W. They finally log off to sleep. But Tama respawns just to cuddle Kubo, dropping a final wish that the devs keep their squad together. A few patches later, Hunter's mom assigns him a grocery run, but Seita forcefully attaches himself to the party. During the escort mission, the kid demands hot chocolate, but his morale drops when Hunter denies the request. Simultaneously, Kubo is free roaming with Saki and Akina, and Saki is buzzing with hype because they're hitting the Cherry Blossom event tomorrow. She proposes they craft their own picnic food, but Akina instantly starts roasting Kubo, reminding everyone her cooking skills are a literal biohazard. Kubo forcefully unequips herself from the cooking roster. So Saki grabs her hands, deploying the puppy dog eyes, claiming she'll be thrilled just to see Kubo eat her food. Seeing the wholesome energy, Akina pledges to try hard too, but Kubo finds the whole exchange so painfully cringe, she literally walks away. They enter the shop to gather mats, but Kubo spots an entity off-screen and breaks from the party. Saki immediately chases her, while Akina's camera pans over to reveal Hunter and Seita have entered the same instance, perfectly explaining Kubo's sudden aggro. Kubo stealths up behind Hunter, burying her face into his back while simultaneously petting Seita. But before she can maximize her Rizz, Saki breaches the area, giving Hunter an absolute death stare for invading Kubo's personal space. Meanwhile, Seita locks eyes with Saki, and his brain completely short-circuits, forcing him to take cover behind Hunter's leg out of pure shyness. Saki drops a friendly greeting on the kid, which spikes his embarrassment meter to max. He walks up to Saki and hands her a rock, but Hunter reveals it's just Seda's favorite piece of gravel. Saki smiles and graciously equips the rock, but then she glances up and notices Kubo and Hunter simultaneously staring nervously to the left. Turns out Akina has been camping behind a shelf the entire time, watching with the most devious troll face imaginable. And she finally steps out to fulfill her role as the chaotic older sister. She instantly targets Hunter, asking if his party is free tomorrow, and when he confirms, she forces an invite to their picnic event. Saki tries to reject the co-op request, but when Seita drops the "I want to play" voice line, she gets completely overpowered by the cuteness. Akina turns to Kubo for final confirmation, and Kubo begrudgingly accepts, knowing full well she is about to be relentlessly farmed for tease material. The next day, Saki logs back into their base, and Akina leaks that Kubo has actually been grinding cooking practice, despite explicitly saying she wouldn't, after witnessing her brutally assassinate an onion. Saki questions what item she's trying to craft, and Akina drops the intel that she's attempting the Hamburg steak recipe. Hearing this, Saki instantly equips her apron, rushing to intercept the process before Kubo literally turns their kitchen into a toxic wasteland. She immediately invades the kitchen to help make Hamburg steak, and Kubo is low-key loving the help. The tutorial starts with Saki teaching her how to skin an onion. But Kubo fumbles the controls and slices her finger, making Saki feel like a toxic teammate. Saki suggests Kubo just go AFK so she doesn't delete her own HP again, and while Kubo agrees, she's low-key depressed because she wanted this to be her solo contribution to Hunter's heart. Later, Akina spawns into the living room and catches Kubo looking like a total NPC, while Saki is doing a literal speedrun of the kitchen chores. After hearing the sob story, Akina reminds Saki that noobs need to experience the grind to get good, and Kubo is definitely a player who learns from her mid-game throws. Just as she begs Saki to stop gatekeeping the kitchen, Kubo rejoins the lobby, promising to lock in and be careful with the steak crafting quest. Saki finds her enthusiasm dangerously cute, so they team up for a co-op cooking session. With the squad together, they absolutely nail the recipe, and Kubo hits Saki with the GG for being the ultimate carry. Akina playfully asks why she's so desperate to cook, but Kubo claims she's just in the mood to get noticed by Hunter. Saki then demands a taste test before the main event. But Akina sees right through the play, knowing Saki just wanted to loot the first bite. Soon after, the whole party gathers with Seita and Hunter and heads to the picnic boss arena. And on the way, Hunter's stomach starts making some devious noises. He apologizes for the lack of audio settings, explaining he skipped his morning fuel. Kubo starts tweaking, asking if he was just saving space for her cooking, making Hunter divert his eyes like a caught in 4K criminal. Later, they drop the loot boxes and Hunter is shook by how premium the graphics on this food look. Akina feeds a bite to Seita, and the kid's face lights up like a RGB keyboard. When Akina snitches that Saki made it, Seita turns redder than a stop sign while thanking her. While the squad is vibing, Hunter locks onto his favorite Hamburg steak. But he's hesitating because it's way outside his interact range. Kubo catches him lacking and immediately passes the goods over. He takes a bite and calls it a banger, which makes Kubo blush harder than a tomato. At this point, Akina has chugged so much liquid courage, she starts calling them certified lovebirds. She then wedges herself between them and starts acting completely unhinged with Hunter until Kubo is so pissed she nearly awakens her Sharingen, looking like she's ready to pack up her own family. Kubo leaves the lobby to cool her processors, but when Hunter tries to follow, his legs start lagging. He silently follows her, struggling to find the right dialogue options until Seita gets sad and forces the co-op reconciliation. Eventually, Hunter summons the courage to drop a "my bad" to Kubo. But she says it's not even his fault and keeps walking, leaving him in the dust. However, Seita hits her with the puppy eyes and points out Hunter's pathetic state, begging her to fix the party connection. Kubo finally walks back and apologizes for the cold shoulder. But Hunter still feels like trash because he's too dense to understand why she was even upset. Kubo is actually flattered that this bot is putting so much effort into overthinking. And her mood gets an instant 2x multiplier. She suggests they walk back while holding Seita's hands like a Holas family. And on the way, she teases him by asking if he's praying for the same class next year. Only for Hunter's brain cells to fully short-circuit. The following week, Hunter drags his negative aura to school, stopping by the store to buy his basic NPC fuel. But the receptionist doesn't even see him in the server. He then waits at the crossing and lets out a massive sneeze, which suddenly forces the world to render his character model. He heads to school, seeing all the normies tweaking to find out which class they're stuck in. But it's a standard day for Hunter, who still has the social presence of a wet noodle. He checks the notice board like a good bot and finds his new room. Once inside, he starts scanning for his new coordinates. But Kubo suddenly spawns and snitches that he's at the back by the window, the classic MC seat. She also reveals they're in the same lobby. But then her squad, Heizuki and Tama, pull up and distract her. Hunter retreats to his seat, but notices the desk next to him is already claimed by a bunny pouch. Kubo joins him and makes him guess where she's sitting. But Hunter says he only cared about his own spawn point. She keeps dropping hints until it finally clicks in his slow-ass head that she's his neighbor yet again. Kubo is hyped because third years don't get a seat shuffle, meaning they're stuck together until the credits roll. Hunter is too embarrassed to make eye contact, so Kubo opens the window to let his brain cool down. She hits him with a smile, hoping for a whole year of devious licks and fun, which actually makes Hunter smile for the first time in his pathetic life. Suddenly, it hits him that he's actually having fun, which was definitely not in his original patch notes. After school, Kubo hits the cafe with her squad to celebrate, and Heizuki asks about our resident ghost boy. Kubo says he's in the same class, which shocks them because they didn't even see him standing there. That night, she finds Akina rotting in the living room, asking for the daily tea. Kubo mentions the girls, but Akina only cares about the progress with our invisible MC. Kubo shyly admits they're neighbors again, and Akina immediately starts the teasing combo. A few days later, the prof tells the class to pick their committees, so Kubo asks Hunter what he's choosing. Hunter says he'll just take the leftover scraps because he's an NPC. But Kubo remembers he was the secret gardener last year who took care of the flowers. She mentions a rumor that the flowers were enchanted because no one saw a soul tending to them, making Hunter feel like a total loser for doing all that work for zero clout. He admits it was a drag, but seeing the flowers bloom actually gave him a tiny bit of purpose. Since nobody ever sees him, he felt happy knowing people were admiring his devious work. But now he's convinced the teacher won't even see his hand if he tries to join again. Soon, the professor asks for environmental committee volunteers, and everyone is silent because it sounds like a lot of physical labor. Kubo immediately raises her hand and locks in. But the prof says they need a guy to do the heavy lifting. Hearing this, Kubo snitches that Hunter also has his hand up, and the midget teacher starts glazing him because he was a total pro last year. And just like that, Hunter and Kubo are in the same committee. Kubo is super hyped because now she gets more hours of private time with our bot. She recalls watching him grind in the garden every day until the flowers popped off and the normies started glazing the view. She saw Hunter smiling in the background and decided then and there to join his party next year. Later, some guys start capping, saying Hunter only joined to rizz up Kubo when she's the one who literally pulled him into the party. As they eavesdrop, the popular boy Pseudo points out that he and Hunter were teammates last year too. But his garden died while Hunter's was thriving. Kubo asks Hunter if they ever talked, but bro has 0 points in social skills, so the answer is no. After that, they head to the science lab where they end up in the same group. Hunter notices Pseudo is caught lacking without an eraser. Hunter has 5 of them in his inventory. But he's too shy to initiate a trade because they haven't spoken since the server started. Kubo sees him struggling and starts grinning like a villain because she's about to force a social interaction. Kubo sees him struggling and starts grinning like a villain, which tells him she's definitely plotting something. She raids Hunter's pouch and points out that he's carrying a whole warehouse of erasers. And honestly, this actually makes Pseudo chuckle. He asks to borrow one, and after Hunter hooks him up, Pseudo admits he's been low-key trying to talk to him for a while. He tells Hunter he failed at gardening last year and wants the pro tips from the master himself. He also admits he's been popping into his class to look for him. But since Hunter is a ghost NPC, nobody could find him all year. Pseudo asks why he has 5 erasers, and seeing Hunter finally make a friend makes Kubo's heart melt. Later, he thanks Kubo for being the ultimate wingwoman, admitting this is his first time actually having fun at school. Kubo is so moved by his growth that she has to run away to hide her massive W. Walking home, Hunter stops by a vending machine to grab a youthful lemon drink. But Kubo gives him a heart-stopping jump scare, making him panic buy a water bottle instead. As they walk, she wonders why youth is lemon-flavored, since she thinks everyone's vibe has a different taste. She then asks Hunter what flavor he thinks his youth would be. Hunter says water, which is the perfect metaphor for his tasteless and boring NPC life. Kubo gently tells him that being like water means he can become anything, giving our boy a whole new perspective. Continuing their walk, Kubo wonders how you even get a lemon-flavored youth anyway. And Hunter says it's basically the exact opposite of how he lives. Kubo starts listing all the fun main character activities you can do to get that flavor. But this feels like a personal attack on Hunter, who currently has 0 social life. He says it's impossible for him since he doesn't even have friends. But Kubo is stunned and asks him, "What about me?" Hunter, being dense, asks if she actually considers him a friend. This totally pisses her off because she's been trying to rizz this idiot up for a whole year. Hunter apologizes and asks if it's okay to call her his friend. She quietly admits she already thought they were way past that. With that settled, they continue their walk back. But at least now, Hunter finally has someone he can call his person. The next day, Kubo has the brilliant idea to challenge Hunter to a staring contest. When he agrees, she lights up like a New Year's fireworks show. She starts locked in, staring straight at his face. and Hunter starts making goofy faces to try and break her focus. However, she tells him to stop being a moron because she only loses if she looks away, not if she laughs. She keeps staring and says she's never looked so deep into his eyes, which makes him so flustered he just gives up. Since she won, she says he has to do one thing of her choosing, and Hunter is vibrating with fear, thinking she's a psychopath. Instead of anything sussy, she just wants him to say good morning to her first tomorrow, which makes her super hyped for the next day. Later, classmates are cleaning erasers by the window, but all that chalk dust hits Hunter right in the face while he's standing there. While he's washing up, Kubo spawns behind him and notices he missed a few spots, offering to help him out. Even when he refuses, she brings her face dangerously close and tells him to stay still while she touches his ears. Hunter is fighting for his life to stay calm, but his heart is racing and the tension is through the roof. Kubo notes that his hair is actually thicker than hers and asks if he wants to feel hers too. Bro tries to play hard to get, but she pulls the classic girl boss move and demands he get his hands in there immediately. Being a certified pushover, he starts petting her like a stray cat, giving her all the warm tingles while he's probably internally screaming. Suddenly, she starts grilling him on his favorite hairstyles, hoping he's got some secret taste in baddies. But Hunter has zero personality and just says literally anything looks good on her as long as it fits her vibe. She then lists all her different hairstyles and asks which one he thinks suits her best. And our boy just says all of them. So she pushes him to pick a favorite. Hunter hesitates but tells her most guys are weak for ponytails. When she asks if he likes them too, he shyly says yes and immediately tries to walk away. Once he's gone, Kubo holds her hair up and decides she's rocking a ponytail tomorrow for sure. Later, the prof announces a physical exam and tells everyone to bring their tracksuits. After class, Kubo starts staring at Hunter, making him think she's about to flame him for being a short king. However, Kubo actually notices that he's gotten taller, which catches him completely off guard. He admits even his family doesn't notice since he's invisible, which is why he's shocked. Which is why this really hit different. She then asks if she's grown any taller as well. But when Hunter can't tell, she takes him to the stairs where they compared heights last year. She tells him to stand with his back against the wall. And he obeys, even though he knows she's just playing with his feelings. She places her hand on his cheek, forcing him to look at her while she marks his height with a ruler. After that, she asks him to hold the ruler so they can switch places. But Hunter just freezes as she moves in close to him. She sees he's still taller, but Hunter gets so flustered he tries to bolt, only for her to grab his shirt. He eventually escapes outside but accidentally steals her ruler, while she stays back clutching her bag. She's clearly flustered because he basically pinned her against the wall for a second. The next day, Kubo heads to her spot and runs into Hunter, who actually says good morning first like a champ, making her day. He returns the ruler and blushes before heading off to class. Right as Tama and Heizuki show up to grill her. They ask why she's grinning, and she says she just had a legendary start to the day. Later, Hunter is all geared up for the physical exam. He's curious to see if he's actually had a growth spurt. Kubo sees his good mood and realizes he's hyped that his tracksuit actually fits better this year, which is spot on. She then asks for his jacket because she wants to wear it, and Hunter hesitantly hands it over. Since it's baggy on her, she sits on her chair with her legs up. And Hunter has to look away to avoid catching a glimpse of the no-no zone. Suddenly, Kubo sprints out of class toward the exam room. When he asks for his jacket back, she just grins and says she's borrowing it for a bit. While Tama is worried about weight, Kubo laments that she can't get thick in the right places, total callback to Hunter liking those bazookas. Tama notices the oversized jacket, and Kubo lies saying it's her sister's old-school gear. Though Heizuki is definitely onto her. Just then, Kubo hears a girl saying she wears her boyfriend's jacket because it smells like him. So naturally, Kubo starts sniffing Hunter's jacket like a total addict. Later, Hunter finds out he grew 3 centimeters, while Kubo and her squad didn't grow at all. A few days later, Akina sees Kubo reading a magazine and starts teasing her about trying to get some. Kubo gets annoyed and leaves, but Akina is just happy to see her sister becoming an absolute baddie. Later, she finds Hunter hiding behind a pillar and asks what he's even doing. Hunter is watching over Seda for his first solo errand, and Akina recalls doing the same thing for Kubo back in the day. Seeing Seda cross the road with his hands up makes Hunter emotional, especially when Akina calls it a big adventure. As he enters the store, Akina says she needs to shop there too. So they both watch over Seda as he successfully buys some eggs. Hunter and Akina wait at the house to welcome him back, but Akina suddenly gets all teary-eyed. Seda returns happy, and she tackles him with a hug and endless praise. She mentions Kubo got eggs for her first errand too, but Recap-Kun, well, gravity broke them all. She made it home and cried her absolute eyes out. But Akina gave her the legendary head pats to make her feel better. Hunter can't imagine her crying, but Akina says she's still the same and loves getting her head stroked. She tells Hunter she's counting on him to comfort Kubo if she ever cries again before heading home. Inside, she tells Kubo everything and brings up the tragic broken eggs incident again. Kubo is annoyed, but Akina pats her head, saying she'd enjoy it more if her crush was the one doing it. Which obviously makes her think of Hunter. A few days later, Hunter is hyped because his favorite manga is getting a film adaptation. But while he's daydreaming, Kubo suddenly spawns and startles him. She asks why he's so happy, and when he mentions the film, she says she loved the manga too. She immediately suggests they go watch it together. But this makes him panic, because a movie date with a cute girl is way too much for a virgin like him. Hunter waits for Kubo by the tree, and when she shows up looking like a 5-star buffet, our boy completely freezes. On the way to the station, she shows off her ponytail, and he says it looks great, which makes her day. On the train, Kubo gets anxious because of the crowd, so she clings to Hunter's bag to feel safe. However, a wave of people rushes in at the next station, pinning the lovebirds against the wall. Stuck in this awkward position, Hunter apologizes, but she's so flustered she can't even speak. She notices Hunter is trying his hardest to avoid touching her, which she actually finds super sweet. But people keep shoving him because he's still a ghost NPC to them, and she starts feeling bad. After that torture of a journey, they finally reach the theater. Some randoms think Kubo is alone and try to hit on her, but Hunter sees his chance to be the MC. Hunter steps in, so the guys ask if he's her boyfriend, causing him to lag for a second. But Kubo latches onto his arm and confirms he's her man, making the bums leave immediately. She thanks him for the protection, and they head inside to the theater. Sadly, the show is sold out since they didn't reserve, so they have to wait until the 4 p.m. screening. Kubo is totally fine with waiting. But when Hunter worries about her getting home late, she says it's actually better because she gets more time with him. She lists all the spots they can hit up, joking that he'll have to walk her home since it'll be dark. However, Hunter says he was going to do that anyway, and they both freeze before she thanks him for being so caring. They head to a cafe where they see a cringe couple sharing a drink. And Kubo teases Hunter, asking if he wants to try that too. Looking at the menu, Hunter orders coffee, which excites Kubo because she thinks that's such a grown-up move. She decides she wants a coffee too. But when Hunter tells her to just get orange juice, she pouts and insists on the coffee. Once it arrives, she looks at it with excitement and says she'll have it in black like Hunter. But the second she takes a sip, she nearly ascends because it's way too bitter, so Hunter suggests adding some cream and sugar. However, she's stubborn and insists on drinking the exact same thing as him. So Hunter sweetens his own cup just so she can stop torturing herself to look cool. He tells her the most important thing is that they actually enjoy the date, which makes her heart warm. Afterward, they hit up the arcade, which reminds Hunter of the time he failed to win a prize for Seda, since he basically has 0 luck stats. But Kubo is secretly cracked at Crane Games, winning the prize on her first try so Hunter can gift it to his brother. Next, they head to a gift shop where Hunter tries to buy another boring eraser, as if he needs more. Kubo asks if he even likes the design. When he admits he just picked it at random, she swaps it out for a cute bunny-shaped one instead. Suddenly, Kubo realizes they're about to miss the opening trailers, so they go full speed toward the cinema. Once inside, The movie starts, and Kubo is surprised to see our quiet MC getting so hyped during the action. By the time the credits roll, both of them had an absolute blast. Walking out, Kubo is vibing because they finally have a common interest to geek out over. She's also loving the fact that she got to see a whole range of emotions on Hunter's usually blank NPC face. Hunter admits he doesn't smile much because he thinks it looks creepy and will scare people away. But Kubo tells him he never has to mask his feelings when he's with her. He says it's hard to change overnight, but she laughs and says he's already easy to read. They catch the train back, and Hunter walks her all the way home like a true gentleman. Once there, she asks if he actually had fun, and when he says yes, Kubo immediately shoots her shot for a second date. Hunter is stunned but agrees, and she makes him seal the deal with a pinky promise. After that, he walks home, recalling how she said she can read him easily, which makes him blush hard because he's definitely starting to catch some massive feelings for her. The next day in class, Kubo greets him with a massive smile, looking extra cheerful for some reason. After the classes end, she asks him if he believes in horoscopes, but Junta says he takes such things with a grain of salt. Kubo says she's a fan and decides to put him through a psychological test. But Hunter sees her grinning and knows some mischief is definitely brewing. She asks him what he would shout in a dream, and Hunter says he'd probably just yell Yahoo from a mountaintop. Kubo starts dying of laughter because the test says that's the first thing he'll scream when he's in danger. Next, she tells him to imagine a field of flowers and tell her how many he sees. Hunter says he only sees one, and she reveals that's supposedly the number of shotties he's destined to crack. Hunter is just glad he's got at least one, but he's low-key worried he might blow his only chance. Then Kubo asks him to find a test online, and he finds one about imagining a certain number of cats playing. Hunter imagines two, but Kubo imagines a whole room of them because you can never have enough cats. When Hunter checks the meaning, it turns out the number of cats is how many kids you want to have. They both freeze up instantly, realizing that things just got way too real for a random quiz. Kubo claims the test is fake and bolts home because she's too embarrassed to function. The next day, she sees Akina drinking coffee and asks for a cup for herself. But Akina thinks her little sister can't handle the bitter life yet. Kubo just grins and says she already chugged a whole cup recently, which catches Akina off guard. She demands to hear the full lore of Kubo's first coffee experience. But Kubo keeps it vague and just says it happened last week. Akina remembers that day Kubo was struggling with her ponytail. When she offered to help, Kubo actually accepted it with a smile, which is rare since she usually gets annoyed by her sister's interference. She even shyly asked if her outfit looked good, and Akina couldn't believe her bratty sister was acting so cute. Connecting the dots, Akina is hyped to see that Kubo is finally growing into her own. But it also makes her a bit sad to see her little sister growing up so fast. She recalls how Kubo used to follow her everywhere like a little shadow. But now she's evolving into her own person. Kubo admits that even if she doesn't follow her anymore, she still looks up to her, which is why she wanted the coffee. She says she's happy to be like her sister, which leaves Akina speechless because Kubo is never this wholesome. Fast forward to Hunter's birthday, but he still feels like a total background character since nobody notices him. Just then, his stomach growls so loud that the entire class actually turns around to look, which gives Kubo a good giggle. She hands him a chocolate to stop the noise, but when he flips it, he sees a happy birthday message. He's shocked she knew, and she reveals she saw his birth date on his student card. She gives him another one that says, "Look in your desk," where Hunter finds a hidden gift. Inside, he finds a plushie so incredibly cursed and ugly that he basically sees his own reflection in it. He smiles and thanks her, then asks when her birthday is so he can return the favor. She playfully asks if she should expect something big, and Hunter tells her to keep her expectations floor level. Happy with that, she opens the chocolate and feeds it to him with her own hands, promising she'll be there to get him a gift next year as well. Hunter gets so flustered he hides his face, but he's genuinely touched that she remembered his day. She tells him to lift his head, but he refuses because he doesn't want her to see how hard he's blushing. The next day, the professor is literally looking for Hunter while standing right next to him. Even Pseudo walks right past him without noticing, despite searching for him. As he heads downstairs, he passes his other classmates who also have zero clue he's there. But as he walks outside, he realizes that Kubo is the only one who has always seen him. He starts wondering why she's the only one with the detect invisible skill, unaware that she's already watching him from the window with a smile. Kubo recalls the day she saw Junta's face, added separately to the commemoration photo. Even though he was already in the shot, she asked Tama why they had to add him twice. Tama explains it's because Hunter has the ultimate stealth stat, basically making him invisible to everyone. That was the day Kubo got curious and decided she was going to be the one to spot him. The next year they ended up in the same class, and she was shocked by how easily she could see him. She told Tama he was right there, but her friend couldn't see a thing, which left Kubo totally confused. Over the weeks she realized no one else could perceive him, even if he was standing right in their personal space. She decided to keep an eye on him from a distance to see how he handled it. But his face was always a total blank, making her want to crack the code even more. Then one day during the seat shuffle, the girls were asked if they had any guys they wanted to sit near. Kubo played it cool but secretly hoped she'd land next to Hunter, and her wish came true. She was hyped to be his seat neighbor and decided it was finally time to break the ice. Hunter was in absolute shock because no one had ever initiated a convo with him, and Kubo found his reaction adorable. She realized he was actually super easy to read, and she wanted to dive deeper into his world. So she made a plan to greet him every single morning just to see those expressions. Back in the present, Hunter looks up to see her at the window, and she waves with a big "see you tomorrow." And that wraps up this